Peter Bell, April 22nd, 2020. Student job ad. GPS location and a time. To meet, if any student can do the outward bound work necessary to get themselves there, any student. If any student can get to this specific GPS location at this specific time, grab a shovel and start doing placer mining. You need like PE, physical education students. You need like you need like athletes. You need like student athletes for this work, man. You coach them to do placer mining, field work. Imagine that. Athletes who become miners. Think about it. Athletes, the best performers. Use them to dig dirt, sift for gold, sluice water, or air sift with bellows. You literally operate bellows with your hands or your feet. Pump air through a sluice box and riffle table and collect gold off crushed material. Start with non-mechanized, just sorting by hand. Usually wet material. But try dry material with a rock crusher. Get a gas-powered rock crusher. And dig up what you think is pay dirt and crush it. And then put it over an air table. Think about that. Work programs at site, again, going to specific GPS locations and digging up rock to do things with it. Digging at the creek is awesome. Plan to do that. And sluice with wet conditions. So hire a crew boss to be there, host them with a bunch of shovels and sluice gear. Get them going. Have 5 people show up one spot, move along to another, have another 5 people show up. If you want, keep going, right? Like, depending how many people you get to sign up in advance, right? Recruiting these people is not trivial. They may not exist. You may not be able to find the right person to do this work as a student. you certainly need somebody professional in placer mining. Be the lead on the field. One person for a crew of 5. That works. But that one person needs to know how to find pay dirt and sluice it. Give it a shot. Buy one of the simple high bankers and go to. You know, you think of how far $5,000 Canadian could go towards hiring crew boss, right? How many days is that? 10 days of his time? $500 a day for him, for some one guy, you know, how to do placer mining. $500 a day to hire one guy who knows how to do placer mining and get him to work at Lightning Creek. $500 a day. 10 gram, 6 gram, 8 gram. $7 grams. $7 hurdle rate. Just for paying the boss man $500 a day. Start with 10 days. See if it's net profit. Just hire him to begin with. And then I go work with him or something. 2-man crew. Hire somebody else. Maybe 4 people. Spencer. Maxine. $5,000 starts getting ate up pretty quick when you're hiring people to stay in hotels. It's a lot better to hire locals. So, again, my first choice is talk to Placer Gold equipment provider in Quesnel and ask him to circulate a job ad, you know, and say like $5,000 bounty for like 10 days. Placer mining in 20 days. I don't know. What do you pay someone? If you pay someone $500 a day, give them 10 days. Could they produce more than 2 ounces? Probably not. 10 days. Just show up in Lightning Creek. Where are you going to start? No idea. So maybe it gets way too expensive way too quickly for me to pay for. But what if Ridgeline Exploration Services hires some people out to provide some people to work on a crew for me in exchange for shares in the gold company with the same private contract placer mining company. Placer mining contract company needs a boss, one guy who knows how to do placer mining. And a crew of 4 people who don't, to start. Contractors show up, remote location on Highway 26, east of Quesnel. Compensation negotiable. May include participation in gold production over the season. Co-op and MyTac and other program eligible. Work includes placer mining, labor in a non-mechanized program. Gold production unknown. Mining site at remote location on Lightning Creek off Highway 26. Have to hike down with gear, maybe ride a dirt bike. Maybe a flatbed truck to bring dirt bikes to site. And base of activities in Quesnel had a rented house, a 6-bedroom, 2-story situation. 5 field crew and 1 chef. Right, field crew, boss, and yeah, 6-person crew, $500 a person per day, less, maybe $500 total compensation, maybe half cash, half gold interest, right? So if it's $500 a day, $250 in gold, what is that, 3 grams? 3 grams per person per day? Could that be the hurdle for production? 3 grams per person? Plus and loading for equipment of like a gram a person, $80. That's the economics of the business. With maybe 1 gram profit, you think total 5 grams gold compensation per person. 5 grams, $80 a gram, $400 comp, half cash, $200 a day, cash comp. Is that realistic? Total cost of the operation unknown. Planning to hire local people from Quesnel as well as anywhere else in the world who can legally come here to work safely. This work program is composed of units of 5 people at a time. So, or fewer, 4 or 3. There's a lot of flexibility in placer mining. A single person can do it to some benefit, depending on their system, right? Baseline, 5 people per unit and team in the field, running 1 high banker. 5 people. So those people can work at a social distance or a physical distance to each other in some degree. And if they all ride motorbikes to and from site to their accommodations, then, you know, it can be relatively distant from other people. If you build a big enough sluice box and have big enough mining operations to space the people out, they can give each other quite a lot of distance, and you can just have them working at different activities or all working at the same activity. For example, if you have a area of strike of pay dirt that's, you know, tens of meters, and it's up in a bench on a hillside, it's probably pretty wet. So the first thing you have to do is dry it out, and going and mining all that by hand and turning it over onto drying tables would be quite a few hundred hours of labor by hand. And it's a non-mechanized mining program under a PLACER permit, under PLACER claims. So, lots of things possible. For example, framing a 4-month period of, you know, a MyTax Accelerate or an NSERC grant of some kind for a student to do work towards an academic publication with a company where it's co-funded. And topic for this private placer company to contribute is as follows. Mineralogy on coarse gold from Lightning Creek, surface stream sediment sampling with underground results from wing dam, paleo placer mining with HCC mining contractors out of Saskatchewan who are using ground freezing technology. You know, to mine the highest grade PLACER ever known in BC, maybe. Paleo PLACER might be the highest grade probably certainly the highest grade unmined. Maybe the highest grade, one of the highest grades of all time. You know, when the creek is mined, which is happening. With a public company called Almanica Mining, and this PLACER mining contracting company has the rights to work surface PLACER mining activity under permits of the law in British Columbia for non-mechanized mining, and beyond mineralogy, the coarse gold, which is pretty esoteric. You can do analysis of the mineralogy of the pay dirt more broadly, and you know, surrounding types of material at surface and at depth, you know, for academic purposes, right? There's a contribution of some new knowledge from, you know, systematically analyzing the properties of gold at surface at Lightning Creek and comparing them with production underground as that underground production first begins here in 2020. Not that in itself is a novel mining engineering achievement that is worthy of further, you know, academic study and consideration. Volumetric calculations, mine planning are pretty neat for a very unusual gold deposit. So, more study, well deserved on that, and ultimately the, you know, diamond drilling programs that will be done at site, right? That's happening. The exploration program, Almanica Mining, set to do some real work for the first time in a long time, maybe ever. So, give it a shot with matching surface work. Try and see what's what. Hire students to do that surface work. Hire locals to do it. Hire anybody you can. You know, the company does not exist yet. There's no capital. So, risk capital, where do you find the money to start? Unbelievable question. Right now I have a budget of 0 or less, you know. We're raising money. We're a junior mining company. So, one of the things you can do is pay people in shares. Talk about paying people in gold production. It's also possible to pay people in shares. That's one thing I remember hearing John Chapman say at Green College when we were talking about mining asteroids with the dear doctor, the physicist who like lived or worked at Green College and was studying like how to mine asteroids or something silly. And yeah, John Chapman said to him, you should give shares to these students and make a company like we do in the junior mining business and let them make a go of it. You got this great idea. Go to, young man. Kind of funny thing. Asteroid mining, junior mining company. That's what he said. So why not? PLACER mining company owned by students, right? Donate some of it to whatever school they come from, right? Think about that. And the shares in that private company can be given to the school's endowment fund, right? Like, even they're just private company shares. They'd probably accept them as a gift, as a donation. They're not really worth anything, but they might be someday. They may someday pay a dividend, Imagine if they paid a dividend in gold. That's what we're talking about, right? So, Kyle Bass, eat your heart out. BCIT got one. Thanks. Bye.